Leo.
Happy New Year 2016, another year, huh? So listen, I can see that many of you were really busy in December as far as like traveling, so to and fro, and maybe many small errands as well. Not necessarily long distance, but to and fro, and also catching up on a lot of communication. But now Mars is going to be moving out of this area for you on January 4th. It's going to move into the 4th house, which has to do with home and family. So you're going to see how you're going to be shifting your attention from being distracted out there and focusing on home projects. So there might be a little something to do here or there that can be tweaked or upgraded at home. I feel that this is something that's going to really alleviate a lot of those things that you've been thinking about and contemplating doing, never finding the time to do it. But here we go. Mars is going to support you to get those things done, down to a ground level. Also, you might just be interacting a little bit more with family and following up on them, as well as also I feel that there's an intensity taking place here in January as Mars not only moving into your 4th house, but it's moving into the sign of Scorpio. So every 2 years you get this transit. And for you right now, this is you actually focusing very deeply on those things that you're passionate about. This intensity is going to help you turn every stone till you find the very answers that you're looking for. And some of you might even be looking into I won't say hidden aspects, but see, Scorpio loves to dig, right? Loves to find the truth about certain things. So some of you might even come across that as well. But here we have the new moon on the 9th, which for you this month will be in the 6th house, Leo. And the 6th house has everything to do with how you focus on your day-to-day routine. How can you improve it so it can be more fluid for you in the oncoming months? Not just clearing your desk for here January, but the more you can strategize, organize, get your ducks in a row, the easier your workflow is going to be in the coming months. So that's where the new moon right now is putting down the intention that once you get everything, should I say, set the way that you are happy with, that your intention is, I'm going to try to keep it this way. Not just for now, but in the months to come, because you're going to see how it's going to actually be a huge advantage as far as a time saver for you. And so that means clearing out clutter and all that thing. So instead of going digging when looking for those items, right, you'll know that they have their spot. So it's the house of Virgo. And think about Virgos being so not just analytical, but extremely organized. So you're going to get the power of that Virgo energy within you here as well. Not only that, but we have the sun. We got Mercury, we got that new moon, and we got Pluto in this very same area, the 6th house. So I can just see that January for you is going to be very potent on getting things up and running, transforming certain things, ridding yourself of whatever isn't needed anymore. So it's a great time not just to clear out your closets, but the garage and so forth, but also emotionally, internally, get rid of those things that you're just stuffing. Pluto loves to stuff, emotionally too. It won't bring things up before it absolutely must, but if you wait too long, this is when we can get eruptions, right? And that's what we want to try to avoid, so that we can be more level-headed in bringing out our issues, so we don't go from the one end of the board to the other. But we will have a confrontation with that Pluto on the 5th. It's by conjunction. The Sun and Pluto, the Sun is you, Pluto is what you've been holding. So I'm feeling this is a great day to take charge, make a decision, say this is what I'm going to do. And then on the 5th through the 7th, this is where I'm seeing elimination is being helped and supported by both Neptune and Uranus. So your question through this process is going to be, do I want to keep this or do I want to let it go? Uranus helps you let go of things. Neptune is more the spiritual, the inner self, you questioning yourself, where you're at on this path. What do you want to keep in your life that can help and support you to move forward? And what are those things that are actually just coming up again and again, like roadblocks? So, this whole process, it's an internal process, but you will come to see how it's going to work for you, Leo, between the 5th and the 7th. So mark that. By the 8th, I feel that you have completed a task because now you're feeling really good about yourself. It's like your values, your qualities, things that you love, you now have a very good grasp on it. That's Venus and Saturn conjunct. For you, this is going to be in the 5th house. So it's your creative energy, it's your creative space. It's also all about love, matters of the heart, which the 5th house is all about. It's your creativity, your self-expression. So if you have cleared out what you wanted and needed, well, here your self-expression is going to feel that much more wholesome, with good solid roots. And I see you making that commitment to yourself that, God, this feels so good. I want to keep this up, in the weeks and the months that are coming. So good for you. Especially because we have that new moon showing up there on the 9th. That could be the commitment where you promise yourself that you want to have this good feel, right? But also for those of you who are single, Leos, let me mention that too. This could be a time where you could come across somebody new. And if so, on the 8th or right before or right after, give it a day or two, this person will come to prove to you its importance, its value, its structure, and I feel that this could be something that definitely could promise a long-term type commitment, because there's a level of seriousness that's taking place, and there's a depth to it, and there's also, being in the sign of Sagittarius, it's the big picture. It's keeping your eye on that horizon. So this could definitely work out to something long-lasting. For you in a relationship, it goes for you too. It's like turning the page, getting on the same page, you and your partner, for these long-term goals. Now, between the 12th and the 13th, we got great news coming in, knocking on your door. First, Venus is going to present to you an unexpected surprise. Venus in that 5th house for love, true love, and self-expression and creativity, all those things that are fun to heart, has to do with Uranus up in your 9th house. The 9th house, this is where you're seeking for higher understanding. It's also the area of long-distance travel, higher education. It also has to do with the law. Any legal matters, in that case, could bring good news on this day. It's for teaching as well as learning. Whatever the deal will be for you on the 12th, it's great. I see there's a creative twist to it. And on the 13th, we have the Sun and Mercury. The Sun being you, Mercury being your communication, is now expanding with a beautiful trine to Jupiter nonetheless. And Jupiter expands everything it touches with joy and enthusiasm, and just being extremely generous with what it gives. And so that will be coming from your 6th house there, and to Jupiter in your 2nd house, which has to do with money and income. So maybe for a few of you, you can come to see maybe a raise, or it could be you starting up something where you might now see the return of coming to you. Whatever you've been working for will now start expanding. So this is a wonderful month, and what a way to start a new year. Whatever takes place now in January, it's really setting the color for how the rest of the year is going to be looking like. On the 17th, don't squander your money. That's all I can say, because maybe the good news of money coming in here the days before, Venus and Jupiter, when they get together, they have a party and they like to splurge. But when it's aspected in a good way, that's good. Then you get the right things. But you know, every once in a while, we'll go out and splurge on something we don't really need. And you know, a few days or a week or two later, we look at it and we go, what was I thinking? Okay, it's one of those days. Be careful. Now, you can look at it, and if you still really want it, you know, after a few days, it'll still be there. Then go for it. But this is the typical impulsive buyer aspect, okay? So 17th, beware. On the 18th, though, Mars, which I said was in your 4th house for family, your foundation, and so forth. Beautiful trine here to Neptune, and Neptune is your hopes and dreams, right? And Neptune right now cruising through your 8th house in Pisces, coming here with Mars. Well, that's very romantic. If you're a female, Mars represents the male, and so you might just hear some very sweet words right now that you probably very much so deserve to hear, and I feel it's just really enhancing the whole atmosphere in your home. And on the 22nd, you're going to have a negotiation, and it's going to cover that very same degree that we saw on the 5th when the Sun and Pluto had the conjunction. Now Mercury here is having that same talk, engaging into that same scenario. But recall though, Mercury is going to be retrograde this month between January 5th to the 25th. So here on the 22nd, when you're having this very intense focus, recall it's still retrograde, but it's okay to have the talk, as long as you don't have to sign anything here on the 22nd. You want to wait till you get into February, if you can, at least after the 25th, before you sign any documents. But sometimes we have to, and you just got to go with what you feel is important to you right there and then. But we have your full moon here, and Leo, it's going to be in the 1st house, which is you, right? So somehow, some way, you're going to be illuminated. You're going to be on the stage of life. And we know you like being in the limelight. This is the time for you to really radiate that. We have a full moon in this area in your chart once a year. So this is your time. Whatever it is you're wanting to do, hopefully it will be happening there around the 23rd of January. Great time here for you. Very energetically so. So when we have that, we can mention a little quickly on the long-term planets, Uranus in the 9th house. It's transforming, changing you up, the way you look at the overall picture of the world. You're turning more and more spiritual. Not saying that you haven't been, but more of that is coming in. The untraditional ways and the unconventional ways, more metaphysically, even quantum physically so. There's things now filtering through your consciousness which is actually changing your worldview and how you fit into it. An exciting time for you, and slowly but surely this is something that's expanding for you. Neptune in the 8th house, it's the way you work with money, saving money or spending your money too. There's a part of you, that humanitarian side of you, that's going to be calling you more and more so into action as you progress. Neptune's going to be here for a long time, so there's absolutely no stress in that manner. And then last but not least, it's Pluto in your 6th house. This is how you are arranging your daily life. If you go back a few years, it was like your focus was on totally different things. And you can ask yourself, what has changed just over these last 3 to 4 years? And then you can see exactly what it is, what your priorities are, and Pluto's going to continue to transform this in your daily life over the next few years. So that's a slow moving transit. But listen, if you haven't listened to your 2016 forecast astrologically or your tarot, you'll find them on my channel to see what the entire year has laid out for you with prospects. So go listen to them. And then also the tarot forecast for January will be up here too, so that you can see what the tarot has in store for you here in the month of January. So I'll see you next month. Take care, and again, Happy New Year.